Hey, welcome to Keight Krafts. I'm Kate. Today I'm excited to share my project for Scrap and Stamp's Sweet November Stamps Inspiration Hop. Let's get started. So to kick things off, I'm going to be working with Pearl. She is a lovely little mermaid designed by Amy Young. And if you would like to know how to get this for free, stay tuned. Now, I have to preface this video, I do not have any of Sweet November stamps in my collection, so upon first impression, I was really impressed at the detail in this stamp and how well it stamped out. And since this was the only piece that I now own, I thought what better way to use the stamp than into stamp masking. So we've cut a little stamp mask for our mermaid, which is covering her so I don't get any of the Distress Oxide in Mermaid Lagoon. And here I'm using Uncharted Mariner. And I'm just creating the little underwater scene for our little mermaid. And I've used some additional full stick post-it notes to mask off where I'm going to be putting the ground. Now next, this is also another new to me product. This is the Distress Spritz in Twisted Citron, and I thought this would be fun to add a little bit of a goldish green color to this. Now, this is similar to the Distress Oxide colors for the Twisted Citron, but with the additive of the mica powder. And this is, I believe it's a Delusions. I couldn't find it on the Scrap and Stamp website, but I did like an alternative for peacock feathers because I thought that's what that reminded me of the most. So here we've got a little bit of a peel and reveal here, so you can see where we're going to be laying ground for the sand. So I didn't really know what to do for the sand, so I thought I would try the method of, I don't know if this is called pointillism or dottillism. I don't know, maybe you could let me know in the comments below what this method is called. My memory of art class is kind of a little fuzzy to me. Anyway, while we're creating a whole bunch of little dots, I should probably take a moment to tell you all about today's video. As some of you may or may not know, this is my stop on the Sweet November Stamps Inspiration Hop. Hopping along to each of the stops along the way will show you a new design to inspire you. As always, we will be giving away a $50 gift certificate to Scrap and Stamp to one lucky winner who leaves a comment at each of the stops along the way. Every stop is another chance to win, so please share the love with each of the talented makers. Winner will be announced on the Scrap and Stamp blog at the end of the month. And if you're curious about any of the products that I've used in today's video, I will leave helpful links in the description box below to better help you guys shop if you need it. Not that I'm, enabling you or anything, because I've got my eye on a few things myself, but if you would like to receive a free Pearla stamp with your purchase, all you have to do is simply put Sweet November stamps in the comments when you're checking out, and that will be added to your purchase. And like I said, this stamp was a very fun stamp to play with. Looking forward to kind of getting my hands on a few of the other stamps that they have in their collection. I see that they're coming out with a Halloween series of stamps, or so I've seen. I don't know. It's kind of exciting to come across a new stamp company. Now, they aren't new to me. They have kind of been on the radar, but with how many stamp companies there are, you kind of got to pick and choose. And I must say, this one is very whimsical, very on par with what I enjoy creating, and just look at how adorable she is. So I don't know about you, but I decided to go with more of a traditional mermaid. I mean, looking at a lot of the other hop members of today's hop and their designs, it just blows me away how talented everybody is with their takes on the mermaid and underwater adventures and all sorts of fun stuff. So I decided to go a little more traditional with my mermaid. I am a kid of the 80s, a teen of the 90s, and grew up on Little Mermaid. And when I think of mermaid, I think of Ariel, so that's where I decided to draw a little bit of inspiration from in my project today. So I am going in with a gradient of Copic reds, and I'm using pretty standard reds that I like to use. And the ones that I have on hand here are, let me find them on my notes. So we're using a cardinal red, which is the R59, a lipstick red, which is an R29, a prawn red, which is R24. And I do end up going in with a little R22 later, but that's for later. And oh, and don't worry about trying to write all of these guys down while I'm coloring. I have a list of all the markers and their links in the description box below to the Scrap and Stamp store if you're missing any of these colors from your stash and you top up. I should also mention too that Scrap and Stamp does have Copic refills. So if you're lacking in a Copic refill that you just can't find locally or in other stores in Canada, by all means, check that out. All you have to do is type in the Copic color that you want, and it will come up with the marker and the refill as well. So I have gotten refills from them before, and they last a while. So anyway, we're in the home stretch here. I'm doing a little tip-to-tip method with some BG colors just to kind of even out a bit of that. And then we're coming in with that prawn I think I'm doing on her shells. And then I thought I would add some YRs to the little pearl that she's holding. And next here, we've got some Nuvo drops that I thought I would just add in as, like little air bubbles in the water. And I thought I would also add like little tiny shells with this pearl kind of embellishment. I'm not sure what the name of this is. I think this is a Ranger brand. I will have alternatives linked in my description box below for the ones that I can't quite figure out. And I figured, since we're doing a little bit of Ariel here, I would come in with my Wink of Stella because you know me, I like a little bit of sparkle to my projects, and because I could never choose between Wink of Stella or Sakura Stardust, I am using both because I can. So I'm going in on little tiny added details here. I thought it would be fun to turn her eyes into sparkles, and yeah, so when I was thinking about what I was going to do with this card, I had to walk away from it. I had to spend a night to think about how I wanted to put this together. And when I sat down the next day, I thought, well, the only sentiments that I have that would be kind of fun, you know what I mean, would be a season's greetings card. And I had found a season's greetings in a lawn fawn beachy Christmas set. And I just thought that this would be perfect to add a little bit of gold and red foiled paper as a matting. And I've gone ahead and added some of my foam tape here to the back of my gold panel just to give it a little bit of interest and a little bit of pop off the red. We're going to double stick this because you'll see here in a minute that I don't quite layer it properly. Because I've got that little bow in my card, I end up positioning it wrong, and then I end up having to pull it back up and then repositioning it, and I finally do get it. I get there in the end. So here I'm just kind of bending it back and forth so I get more of a flatter surface to deal with, and then I'm able to grab my corners, stand above my project, and line this up a little bit better than what I did initially. And that's one of my tips. So because I thought the gold was lacking, I did cut another little tiny sliver here of the red to mount that on top, just so the backing and the sentiment are all matchy-matchy. And this is as simple as it gets for me. I mean, you could add seashells if you have them. You could add Christmas baubles floating in the water if you wanted. But I really wanted to focus today on Pearl because I think she is absolutely adorable, especially as a little mermaid in her colors. And, just to give the season's greetings a little bit of a pop, I'm going over the sea bit with my Sakura Stardust. And now we are in the home stretch. We are going to add some of my Bearly Arts glue to the back of my panel, and we're going to make sure that that's got a lot of glue on there, because at this point in the game I could not find my tape runner to double stick, so that is what it is. So we'll line everything up on my card base, give it a good mash down, and here you have my finished project. I really hope you enjoyed today's program. I encourage you to hop along at each of the stops and leave a comment down below and at everybody's projects. And as always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.